Hello friends, this video on gravitation part 6 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So now let us try to solve some problems based on the universal law of gravitation and also acceleration due to gravity. So let us look at the first problem. What is the magnitude of gravitational force between the Earth and a 1 kg object on its surface? Okay, so we will make use of the universal law of gravitation. So here, what are the two objects between which we are trying to calculate the gravitational force? One object is the Earth and the other object is this 1 kg object, right? So let us suppose mass of M1 would be the mass of the Earth, which is 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg. What will be M2? M2 is the 1 kg object, and it says that the 1 kg object is lying on the surface of the Earth. So you have the object here, right? So what is the distance between the object and the Earth? We always measure the distance from the center of the Earth. So the distance would be nothing but the radius of the Earth. And what is the radius of the Earth? It is given as 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meters. Right? So now applying universal law of gravitation, we know that G is equal to F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by r square. So G, we know the value of G as 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 into m1 is 6 into 10 to the power 24, m2 is 1 divided by r square, that is 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 whole square. So this value comes out to be 9.7 Newton approximately. So this would be the magnitude of the gravitational force between the Earth and the object. So let us look at the second problem. It says gravitational force on surface of moon is only 1/6 as strong as the gravitational force on Earth. Okay, so what is the weight in newtons of a 10 kg object on moon and on Earth? So that means it says that the weight of an object, if I'm talking about the weight of an object, what will be the weight on moon? Will the weight on the moon and Earth different? Yes. Why so? Because when I'm talking about weight, I'm actually talking about the force experienced by the object because of the gravitation, right? And as I mentioned before, the acceleration due to gravity will have different values on Earth and moon. So how do we define weight? Weight is nothing but mass of the object multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity, right? Now, the problem itself says that the acceleration due to gravity on moon is equal to 1/6 the acceleration due to gravity on Earth, right? So therefore, the weight of the object on moon will be equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity on moon. So this will be equal to mass into, we can write Gm as Ge divided by 6, right? So this will be equal to, and what is the mass of the object? Mass of the object is given as 10 kgs. So this will be 10 into, what is Ge? That is acceleration due to gravity on Earth is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. We determined that value in one of our previous slides, right? So this will be 10 into 9.8 divided by 6. So this comes out to be 16.34 newtons. So this would be the weight of the object on moon. So what would be the weight of the object on Earth? It will be mass into acceleration due to gravity on Earth. So that will be 10 into 9.8, that is equal to 98 newtons. So you can see here practically that how the weight of an object varies from Earth to moon. So let us look at the third problem. It says that a ball is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity of 49 meters per second. Calculate the maximum height to which it rises and the total time it takes to return to the surface of the Earth. Okay, so let us first look at the first part. Now, what are the values which are given here? It was thrown upward with a velocity of 49 meters per second. So that means the initial velocity is 49 meters per second. right? So we have to, what happens actually, the boy throws the ball, it reaches a maximum height. So first the ball goes up, it reaches a maximum height, let us say that it reaches this point A, and then it starts falling down again and come back to the earth. That is what is happening actually, right? So let us suppose now when it reaches this maximum height at this point, what is its velocity? Its velocity is 0, right? So the final velocity is equal to 0 at point A, that means at maximum height, right? So we have to calculate the height till which it rises. That means this is the initial velocity, so this is my starting point and this is my ending point for now, because right now I just want to calculate this maximum height, right? So we have to calculate the total displacement. And what is the acceleration due to gravity? It is 9.8 meter per second square. Now the ball is thrown up, so it will be with a negative sign. Now, which equation should I make use of here? If we know u, v and g, but we have to calculate s, so we will make use of the third equation, that is v square is equal to u square plus 2gs. So this will be minus 2gs because this g has a minus sign, right? So this will be 0 is equal to 49 square minus 2 into g into s. So from this we can calculate s as 49 square divided by 2 into 9.8. So this value comes out to be 12.25. Comes out to be, 122.5 meters. So this would be the maximum height to which it rises, right? Okay. So now in the second part, it asks us to calculate the total time it takes to return to the surface of the earth. That means first it rises from here, then it comes back to here. So the total time, so upward journey is time plus downward journey is time, right? So sometimes, so we generally use the word ascent and descent. Ascent means when an object is going upward to a maximum height. Descent means when an object is falling from top to the ground. So this is ascent and this is descent. So we have to calculate here the total time. So the total time will be time of ascent plus time of descent. That means the time taken to reach the maximum height and then the time taken to fall back to the earth from the maximum height, right? So let us first try to calculate the time of ascent, right? So only the upward motion, let us apply the first equation of motion, that is v is equal to u plus at. So this we can write as v is equal to u minus gt. Now v is 0, u is 49 minus 9.8 into t. So this t is nothing but time of ascent. So this is ta. So from this we can calculate ta as 49 divided by 9.8, which is equal to 5 seconds. Right? So 5 seconds is the time which it will take to reach the maximum height. But then again it has to fall back from the same height to the ground. So while falling back again, the time of descent will be 5 seconds because time of ascent is always equal to the time of descent. So therefore the total time it will take to return to the surface of the earth is time of ascent plus time of descent, which is equal to 5 plus 5, that is equal to 10 seconds. Now if you think, if you are not convinced with the fact that time of ascent will be equal to time of descent, you can also calculate time of descent separately and you will find that time of descent also comes out to be 5 seconds. How can you calculate the time of descent? You can make use of the second equation of motion. So I will do it here. To calculate time of descent, we can make use of this equation. S is equal to ut plus half gt square. So here g will be plus because now the object is falling down, right? So the g will be positive. So in this case, now in this motion, now here the initial velocity will be velocity at this point, right? So the initial velocity will be equal to 0 in this case because now the motion is starting from this point. So the previous final velocity will become its initial velocity. So now initial velocity will be 0 plus half into g is 9.8 into this t time is nothing but the time of descent. So this is equal to the s, and s is 122.5. We have calculated this s, that is the total distance. So from this if you calculate, you get time of descent is equal to 5 seconds. So whether you calculate it this way or you directly write it, both are all the same, because during a free fall, when an object is thrown up and it falls down and it reaches the surface of the ground, your time of ascent is always equal to the time of descent. Right? So now you're able to understand how we make use of the equations of motion. Anyways, we have solved these kind of problems in our previous lessons also. The only difference here is that your acceleration got replaced with the acceleration due to gravity. Right? Okay. Now let us look at the fourth problem. It says a stone is released from top of a tower of height 19.6 meters. Calculate its final velocity. So the stone is released from the top of this tower, right? That means initially the velocity was 0, because initially the stone was at rest at the top of the tower. What is the height of the tower? That is, height of the tower is nothing but the total distance that will be traveled by the stone. So that is 19.6 meters. We have to calculate the final velocity, and acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meter per second square. So having these values, we will make use of the third equation, which is v square is equal to u square plus 2gs. We have taken plus because the body is falling downwards. So from this we can say this would be 0 plus 2 into g into s. So this will be equal to 384.16, or we can say v is equal to root over 384.16, that is equal to 19.6 meter per second. So this would be the final velocity of the stone. Let us look at problem 5. It says a ball is thrown vertically upward with an initial velocity of 40 meters per second. Okay, so the initial velocity is given as 40 meter per second. Taking g is equal to 10 meter per second square. Now the value of acceleration due to gravity is actually 9.8 meter per second square, but many a times, just to keep calculation simple, it is rounded off to 10. So here the problem says that g, you should take it as 10 meter per second square. We have to calculate the maximum height reached by the ball. It is again a similar kind of problem. So maximum height means the total distance we have to calculate. And at maximum height, the final velocity would be 0, right? So at maximum height, your final velocity becomes 0. So we can make use of the third equation of motion, that is v square is equal to u square minus 2gs. Here minus because the object is going upwards. So 0 is equal to 40 square minus 2 into 10 into s. So from this we can say s is equal to 40 into 40 divided by 20. So that is equal to 80 meters. So 80 meter is the maximum height that would be reached by the ball. We have to also calculate the net displacement and the total distance covered by the ball. So 80 meters is just one way. This is 80 meters, the maximum height reached by it. So what would be the total distance? Total distance would be this distance plus this distance, because first it goes up and then it will again fall down, right? So the total distance would be s plus s, that is equal to 80 plus 80, which is equal to 160 meters. What would be the total displacement? Now when I talk of displacement, it is nothing but the distance between the initial point and the final point. So initial point was this, final point is again this, because it falls back to the ground. So therefore the total displacement will be equal to 0. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.